I reckon it's clear for most of the country to see that the Māori Party's turned into an angry, protest-driven, activist political movement. If you put in one, you're not a boy, they'll make it $5. Then if you put another $1, it makes it $10. They put in $4 for every $1. Oh, I think it's visionary, mate, you know? More than $1 billion has been paid to just 2 iwi to settle past grievances.
Are we paying these people to front up, or are we paying them to fly to Wellington to eat their lunch? Should you really lose your career for refusing to take part in a 90-minute lesson about Māori culture? This government doesn't actually have any idea how to get economic growth. Show us what you made of, Prime Minister.
Editor-in-Chief with Duncan Garner.
Today, the inconvenient truth. More than $1 billion has been paid to just 2 iwi to settle past grievances. So why on earth is Te Pāti Māori still so angry and so abusive towards white people? Let's go.
Duncan Garner, live.
Okay, so you were the Editor-in-Chief. Welcome. Good to have you along, everybody. I'm Duncan Garner. Tonight, I will reveal just how far New Zealanders have gone to resolve and compensate for past wrongs. I'll also ask, why does the Māori Party choose to leave the facts out and remain so damn angry? And when will the separatists pull their heads in and stop biting the hand that feeds? To subscribe, hit the button below. We're really keen on that. We'll catch our social media, Duncan Garner Podcast, on TikTok, Instagram, or flick me an email at duncan@rover.nz. It's always good to hear from you. Let's rip into it.
It's the Slam Dunk.
I reckon it's clear for most of the country to see that the Māori Party's turned into an angry, protest-driven, activist political movement. Don't you think? I think that's where they're at. They don't let the facts get in the way of stirring up their base, and it's more destructive than constructive. And I think it threatens social cohesion in New Zealand. I think it's that threat. They're driving a separatist agenda, and in my opinion, there is no place for that. Nowhere in the world does separatism work. It's based on racism, and it will wreck New Zealand. And if you love this place, you've got to stand with me and stand against it, I reckon. If we don't, then we become a modern-day Zimbabwe, and I don't think there's a future in that. We'll be out, and there'll be no place to call home. This is not being dramatic. This is taking a stand and telling the truth. I don't think it's a stretch to say if you're Pākehā or a white New Zealander, the Māori Party does not have your interests at heart. They believe Māori hold more rights and sit above Pākehā. Listen to that Māori MP, Duncan, any day, and he makes it really clear. They believe, despite all the settlements, that we are still responsible for stealing their land, and they will not be satisfied ever. They will never be satisfied until we're on our knees and Pākehā have fled. No matter how much changes hands and under what terms, only they deserve to remain. And given the rhetoric of the Māori Party, it's pretty clear that they see everyone else as colonisers. And we are here by invite only. And if we're here without an invite, it's gone. It's such a dangerous path. And in saying that, I don't think, though, it's the widely held view of Māori across New Zealand. And for the most part, we live side by side. We get on. We live in reasonable harmony and with each other's consent. It's only the radical leadership of the Māori Party that's pushing this stuff, and it thinks this way. And as you saw from the hikoi, they're sending their messages, or their misleading messages, far and wide, in the hope that people will jump on their waka. And this is why it's dangerous. They're angry, and they appear to have little time for Pākehā views. And they're generally dismissive to any other worldview than the Māori worldview. The thing that really frustrates me is that as a country, we agreed to settle past wrongs and injustices. It was the right thing to do. And we're now 50 years down the track of this. We've paid out billions of bucks. We've said sorry so often we've lost our voice. And yet we get to this point, and Te Pāti Māori can't acknowledge that work. It can't acknowledge it. It just continues to take swipes at us. Now, it's disheartening, I reckon, and it's at the point now where Pākehā New Zealanders have had enough. Many are afraid to say it, and I guess I'm saying it for many of them. But we signed up to the process that not only appears to have no end, but it's not even acknowledged by the Māori Party as progress. They remain angry, bitterly angry, and stuck firmly in the past and in a grievance mode that while it takes their people nowhere, it also strikes a chord with many young Māori who are a red rag to a bull with this stuff, and they're only building the next generation of haters and wreckers, and those in grievance who will demand more and more and more. It never ends. So where does it end? I'll show you shortly how two iwi have managed to now be paid more than $1 billion between them. And despite their huge wealth, they're in line for another taxpayer top-up to the original settlement shortly. They will get that in 2027, but bear with me on this. All this information that I will show you and tell you about today is in the public arena, but I've just pulled it all together for your benefit, so you can have a look at it. And this is not a criticism of these iwi. These two iwi have done brilliantly and done well, and they should be acknowledged for that. So take Ngāi Tahu. Extraordinarily successful iwi in the South Island, worth now $2.2 billion. They hire the best people no matter what the race. They don't care who you are as long as you're good. Originally, their full and final, so-called settlement in 1997, was 17% of the $1 billion fiscal envelope cap, okay? $170 million, $170 million. But the cap was lifted over time, so they have received what they call relativity payments of hundreds of millions of dollars in 2012, 2017 and 2022. That's how it works. And their settlement so far is worth around $550 million, or over $500 million. Likewise, Tainui got 170 million in 1995, and to keep them at their same size, they've also received relativity payments across those same years worth hundreds of millions, 2012, 2017, 2022. And all up, they have received a settlement of around $560 million. Again, well over $500 million. Tainui are due another payment in 2027 as Ngāi Tahu, as I said. They are huge settlements, and the taxpayer remains on the hook in full and final. Meant exactly the opposite all those years ago, didn't it? Now, I actually don't begrudge them the money. I mean, they had good negotiators. The government of the day, the National Party, the racist National Party apparently, well, they allowed this to happen. They put their negotiating team in there and they agreed to this. But it's the Māori Party's refusal to acknowledge it that I find so annoying. Do they even know that these numbers exist? I bet they don't even know. I bet I'm telling them something for the first time. I bet I am. And I don't think that people quite realise how big these settlements are. Certainly with the moaning and groaning of the Māori Party, you'd think that nothing's been paid. You know, iwi are doing well. But the truth is they're now both well-run enterprises. Both those iwi are well-run enterprises. They've got excellent investments and they hand out millions and millions and millions to their people. People right across the board. You've got to be linked to, and registered to the iwi. But Ngāi Tahu has a KiwiSaver savings scheme. And they put in millions of bucks to top up their people's accounts. They help them buy houses. They give out money when a child is born, so a firstborn. And the savings schemes for Ngāi Tahu, for youth, for kids, for every dollar you put in, Ngāi Tahu put in $4. Who knows that? It's truly remarkable. And as much as I go and criticise the Māori Party, I also I'm also balanced and I can see where they've done well. And this iwi just deserves accolades for their approach. Pākehā New Zealand should stop for a minute and say, well done. You've made excellent decisions, good judgments, and right from day one. It's been impressive right from day one, and it secures the future of so many young Ngāi Tahu. They're building wealth, they're building houses, and as a charitable fund, they don't need to pay tax because they put the money through the charity. So it makes a mockery of the negative, angry approach from Te Pāti Māori. Why can't they celebrate this and acknowledge it and say, hey, the process has worked well. National, you engaged with this, well done. And how many years later is it? 30 years later. Look at the wealth that's been created for Ngāi Tahu. Well done. So when can we bring this to its conclusion then? These iwi aren't poor and missing out. They continue to get vast sums of public money due to that formula I just spoke about. That was struck in the 1990s, and in 2017, Tainui's one-off payment was $190 million, larger than their original settlement. Ngāi Tahu's was $150 million. It's not insignificant. And as I said, they're a trust with charitable status, so they don't have to pay tax because they distribute money to their people. At a time when this government's cutting funding everywhere else, these settlements struck years ago remain. Even if we're broke, we still have to pay it legally. We have to pay it. The government's obliged to pay it. So they do. That's the rules. It's 30-year-old agreement. Yet the dismissive, arrogant, anti-Pākehā view from Te Pāti Māori is out of step with the public mood, I reckon. Does not acknowledge the money that continues to be sent their way for redress. The Māori Party needs to dial it back because Pākehā New Zealand appears restless and I think tired of what's going on here, and it's time to voice that. We can either get on or we can stay divided. There's no future for New Zealand if we choose the path of separatism. And no future if this process continues to drag on. For Māori, I accept no one wants it to end. But for all our sakes and for the future survival of everybody in this country, at some stage it has to. We've got to draw a line under it. We've only got so much money, and if we keep pouring millions into redress, then we might not have anything for the here and now and for the operations, the hospitals and things. Everybody loses. Let's get a grip. Let's stop the racism, reject separatism, and dial back the race politics. And let's finally acknowledge the settlement process, while not perfect, has been pretty much a resounding success. But it can't go on forever. Pick a date, call it. And to Northlands Ngāpuhi, see what you've been missing out on? Your inability to settle and get around the table is really hurting your people. It makes you poorer. And it makes another generation that misses out. If you're looking for any further proof, head to the South Island and see the wealth creation and the kids' savings accounts in the South Island. It's brain dead to sit still and do nothing. It is denying generations of Māori in the North a better life. Grab the money, empower yourself, control your own affairs. It's tino ranga tiratanga. That's sovereignty. And isn't that what you've always wanted? Good afternoon and good evening to you.
Duncan Garner, live.
Okay, what do you reckon? I mean, they're saving what Ngāi Tahu's done. You know, it's all very well to come here and poke the stick at Māori, but those guys have just producer Isaac in Christchurch. You're a Christchurch boy. Remarkable, mate, isn't it? Eh?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, there's a massive Ngāi Tahu presence in Christchurch. Obviously, it's the only one we've got. But yeah, like I mean, what were you saying? It was
$4.
for every $1 they save. They put in
They put in $4. So the Evie puts in $4. If you put in one, you're not a boy, they'll make it $5. Then if you put another $1, it makes it $10. They put in $4 for every $1. Oh, I think it's visionary, mate. You know.
Yeah, and it's a great way to use the funding that they get, and to it's beneficial all round. You can't really see a negative to that.
No, I can't either. And they can take money out for their first house, and they get contribution to that. Have a baby, the Naito will give you $100 straight away, so a couple of bags of nappies. But they're putting it through the charity. They're giving money to their people, and if Māori have a view that they're missing out on something, then talk to your iwi leadership and say where is the money? Because you can't keep blaming government forever. At some stage, you got to say we've settled that and we're going to move on. It's astonishing that a full and final settlement, Isaac, at 170 million becomes 550 million. It's huge, eh?
Yeah. It's huge.
Smart negotiators, eh? Smart negotiators, I reckon. Yeah. Are you Ngāi Tahu? You want to get a bit of that?
Well, I wish I was, but no, I'm not.
Okay, mate. There we go. How do we create this? That's us, folks. Thanks for all your feedback and support. There's been shivers. There's been so much of it in the last few days. Get in touch through our social media. Duncan Garner podcast on TikTok, Instagram, or flick me an email, duncan@rover.nz. Don't forget to subscribe as well. Subscribing matters, doesn't it, Isaac? If people go and hit the button, yep.
Yeah, makes a huge difference. We're almost at 10,000.
Yeah,
almost 10,000 subscribers, so keep that up.
It's been quite phenomenal the last few days or last couple of weeks. Yeah. So that's
right.
Take his word for it. Just if you can hit the button, that'd be great to my guys. And there aren't a huge team of them. Isaac, thank you, mate. Lockie, thank you. Remember, life's no dress rehearsal. There's no curtain raiser. This is it. We live in one of the best places on earth. We still do. So get out and enjoy it. Have a great rest of the day and take care, New Zealand. Ta-da.
Duncan Garner live.